Thank you, Mr. President. I rise, and this time I want to make sure that I thank our Chair of Veterans and Homeland Security, Senator Scarcella-Spanton, as well as the Ranker, Senator Ashby, as well as all of our colleagues, but certainly Senator Scarcella-Spanton for helping to put together our 20th recognition of veterans by this chamber. It is extraordinary when we think that 20 years has passed since we began this recognition. And something that Leader Ort said this morning, I wanted to make sure that we in this chamber understood. He thanked me for continuing the tradition of honoring the veterans that had been started before we were a majority here on this side. Had I continued that tradition, we would only have honored Democratic military people, because the original setup, basically the majority honored their veterans. I remember getting here in 2007 with a veteran that I wanted to honor, but I couldn't because we weren't in the majority. And I had to go through my Republican mayor to beg to have this person included. It was during that time that I had a Republican Senator, Tom Morahan, stand up and say he agreed that we have to honor all of our veterans because service transcends political parties. And when we took the majority in 2009, that's exactly what we did. So the tradition of service is honored in every quarter, in every corner of our state. And when I looked again at the array of amazing veterans, their heroism, their bravery, their courage from World War II, Korean War, Vietnam, to Afghanistan, as Senator Ort has served, and so many others, and of course, you know, I'm not talking of all of the different deployments and so on. We have to always recognize that that service, which allows us to be in these chambers, has to be honored. And the other thing I thought about as I looked at this amazing group of people from all over the state, all different backgrounds and ethnicities, the conversation about DEI in the military. I've stood on this floor so many times talking about my father, who served in a segregated army, who, Purple Heart, Bronze Star, came back to a segregated country, did not get the GI Bill or any of its benefits. Just last week, we were celebrating the Buccaneers. Thank you, Senator Fernandez and Senator Sepulveda, for that. Puerto Ricans who had been deployed starting in the Korean War and going forward, who to this day get 60% of their benefits. I think about my brother, the Vietnam War veteran who came back, and like all the veterans at that time, because the war was extremely unpopular, they were denigrated. And my own honoree today, Randy Jurgensen, who many of you heard his story of his accomplishments, he begged for us to remember the Korean War, which is why we celebrate it, because it's so-called the Forgotten War. Think about that: diversity, equity, inclusion. My dad was not included. The equity for the Buccaneers, for the Vietnam, but was not there. The diversity of every single one of us and the people we love and the people we acknowledge are willing to put their lives on the line and die for this country. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. You have people who are willing to D-I-E, die, so that we could be here. So I am so proud to be able to, yes, take a tradition, make it more inclusive because of the diversity and because we need to have the equity. And as we sit here in this chamber today, passing legislation that builds on what we've done in the past for our veterans, we will continue, I hope, collectively to make sure that even on a national level, they hear that we must honor those who are willing to, yes, D-I-E for our freedom. Thank you, Mr. President.